and then I wake up on the kitchen floor, and he says, if you're old enough to talk to me like a man, then you're old enough to get beaten like one. Rick Harrison built a car collection worth millions. More than 30 classic cars filled his garages. His favorite 1940 Chevy Deluxe sat beside Ferraris and NASCAR replicas. But then the bills started stacking up. $65,000 a month in alimony. His own mother suing him for $500,000. Legal fees crushing his bank account. In 2025, something changed. Rick began acting strange about his prized cars. He refused a $100,000 Ferrari. He made low offers on cars he once would have bought instantly. Something was happening behind the Pawn Star's fortune. Rick Harrison was only 8 when his world fell apart. It began in 1973, while he was lying in bed at his home in San Diego. His head suddenly buzzed like live power lines. His body froze. His tongue tore like shredded meat. When it ended, he couldn't stand. Doctors called it focal onset aware seizures. But to Rick, it meant nothing except pain. It happened every month for 10 years. The seizures damaged his muscles so badly he sometimes couldn't get out of bed for weeks. Ice packs wrapped around his legs. Some years he missed more than 200 days of school. His childhood was spent between hospitals and silent rooms, listening to the buzzing in his skull, waiting for the next attack. While other kids played baseball, Rick read books. His mom brought him the Great Brain series from the library, and he fell in love with the clever boy named Tom, who ran money-making schemes in small-town Utah. Rick finished all 8 books in less than 2 weeks. He wanted to be like Tom. He wanted to win. Then came history books. By age 12, Rick was reading about 18th century naval battles, old coins, and wars most adults had never heard of. Alone in his room, sweating from seizures, he was training his brain for the job he would become famous for. He could spot details most people missed. He remembered everything, but life outside his room was cruel. At Taft Middle School, the bullying never stopped. Kids teased him for being different, for missing school, for twitching or looking pale. He couldn't run. He feared seizing in front of everyone. So he kept quiet and studied people instead. Every insult taught him how minds worked. Every lonely lunch taught him how to read faces and spot weaknesses. What others called rejection, Rick turned into survival training. Then everything collapsed. In 1981, when he was 16, his family lost everything. His mom Joanne had a successful real estate business in the 70s, but the recession destroyed it. Mortgage rates shot up to 18%. The market died overnight. His father Richard had just left the Navy after 20 years to help her. The timing was terrible. They lost $1 million. Only $5,000 remained in the bank. They left California. They packed their things, crossed the desert, and reached Las Vegas, hoping for a fresh start. Rick had already dropped out of 10th grade. School didn't matter anymore. He was making $2,000 a week selling fake Gucci bags in the San Diego Garment District. That's more than $7,000 today. He was 15. He bought knockoff bags for $30 and sold them for $300. When competition increased, he switched to fake jeans. He built an underground business, while other kids played arcade games. His dad was angry. He quit school, but he couldn't argue with the money. It lasted 2 years. When the market dried up, Rick searched for something new. In 1982, something even bigger happened. His girlfriend Kim got pregnant. Rick was 17. Then tragedy struck. She had a miscarriage. Most young couples would break up after something like that, but Rick and Kim got married anyway. Months later, she got pregnant again. On April 27, 1983, their son Corey was born. Rick was 18. 2 years later, Adam was born. But raising 2 babies with no money became too much. In 1985, Kim left. She dropped the kids off and never returned. Rick was now 20 years old, a single father with 2 toddlers and stacks of unpaid bills. He pawned his comic books to keep the power on. Every day was survival. Vegas didn't give easy chances. Rick sold bootleg VHS tapes on the street. He flipped cars in risky deals. Once, he used a tow truck to steal a car from a dealership's service area, driving away like it was his. He got arrested for selling fake designer goods. He ran newspaper route scams. It wasn't pretty, but it kept his kids fed. Every hustle sharpened his instincts. Every shady deal taught him how to see value, spot lies, and read desperation. He was building skills without realizing it. Back in hospital waiting rooms, Rick started buying antique coins. He was 12 the first time he held a Civil War coin. Something clicked. The weight, the age, the story behind it, all of it made sense. He bought more. He studied everything. How coins were made, how artifacts aged, how fakes looked under light. His memory was perfect. His love for history mixed with real-world hustling and made him unique. Someone who could charm you and outsmart you at the same time. But that gift came from something darker. Rick had lost his sister Sherry when he was a toddler. She was 6 when she died from health issues. The family didn't talk about it much, but Rick felt the silence. It shaped them. His parents carried grief everywhere. Rick learned early that life could end without warning. That lesson stayed with him. He didn't trust happiness. He prepared for disaster. And that's why, When life crashed in 1981, he didn't break. He adapted. He remembered. He rebuilt. In April 1981, Rick arrived in Las Vegas at 16 with his family and just $5,000 left. His father's retirement dreams were gone. Vegas became their last chance. Rick got a job bussing tables, washing dishes for $3.35 an hour while going to high school. But at night, he had another job. He repossessed cars from people who stopped paying loans, driving through dangerous neighborhoods where one mistake could get him hurt. Some nights he earned more doing that than he did all month washing dishes. His parents opened a tiny 300-square-foot coin shop on Las Vegas Boulevard. That's where Rick saw real desperation. Gamblers came in, pawning wedding rings for $20 at 13 cents on the dollar. He memorized their faces. He studied every deal. Soon he started selling counterfeit designer bags on the side, earning $2,000 a week more than school could ever give him. By 10th grade, he dropped out. Vegas was a faster teacher, but Rick wanted more than coins and fake Gucci bags. He wanted a pawn license. The problem was the law. Las Vegas allowed only one license per 50,000 people. In 1981, the city wasn't big enough. So Rick waited. Every week for almost 2 years, he called the city statistician, asking for the newest population count. People at City Hall joked about it. Rick didn't care. In 1989, when the population hit 250,000, he saw his chance. But others wanted it too. Some pawn shop owners paid politicians to block newcomers. Legal fights cost Rick and his father $15,000. Then one day, the judge began attacking the opposition. Rick knew he won. When the approval came, he said, "I just hit the lottery." And he meant it.